wasn't actually planning on doing this tonight, but oh well, you can't shut me up for too long, especially when I'm already in the mood to be talking. Yeah, Johnny Guzman over at QL was having a few things he needed to take care of. A lot of it has to do with getting Santu to Ecuador, or Ecuador, I love that word. Anyway, yeah, so best to take care of that stuff, and, I want to do it tomorrow night, but, hey, we're on the air 7 nights a week, so it makes it a little hard to kind of juggle. It's one of the things about doing this is you're kind of chained to it, but, yeah, someone had posted, actually Tracy had mentioned about the song, and yeah, I wrote that intro song that you listened to. I wrote that as an internet dare back in the old days. Those little chat rooms and stuff you hang out in and talk to other people. And there was an individual in there actually who I ended up being a friend with. Beyond that, and it was actually her and a few of her friends that got me my first gig booked in Nashville. So I guess the dare kind of paid off. But anyway, yeah, it was kind of an interesting thing that that song came out. I was in the chat room and someone said, "Oh, you're not a songwriter. Prove it." So I did. I wrote that in the chat room on the fly. And of course, I was relatively new to all that kind of stuff. Didn't know how to copy and paste to save my life. But so I had someone else in the room that knew how to do it, actually copy and paste it and send it back to me. And I put music to it, and there you are, Only Hearts. Little song trivia from me, but anyway, yeah, that's what I'm really supposed to be doing. A lot of people have asked me that recently, and I do miss it. I just, yeah, it got radio. I've actually had a few songs chart, so yeah. And what was I saying there? Yeah, anyway, it's been an interesting day. So it's kind of a no-holds-barred night, guys. So please feel free to rescue me. It's 2 hours of talking. I mean, I can do that. The only real question is, can you handle it? I don't know. It's been one of those days, very, I would say, philosophical days. Where you take some time to actually reflect in at yourself. I actually spent a little bit of time meditating today, which is I don't always get that luxury, and it was as a direct result. I don't ever talk about dreams on my shows, but I had a really interesting dream. Oh, cool! The rabbit. I threw an apple down for the rabbit, and he's munching away down there. Cool. Anyway, yeah, it was. To say, I don't know. It was. I'm sure we've all had them. It's been a very long time since I've had one of this particular. How do you put it? Magnitude is probably the best word, but more importantly than what was symbolized in and what I was witnessing in it. When you're in dreamland, you're obviously touching the other side, so to speak. Anyway, it was more the feeling I got from it. The realization waking up this morning, and it's going to be almost impossible for me to describe this, but I'm sure I can give you a fairly good picture of it. It's just, you'll know what I'm talking about, but to try to describe the magnitude of it and the perspective that I was seeing it from, it was nothing short of awe-inspiring. Anyway, it was there was some talk, people, how you get in these dreams, and it was lucid, so I was pretty much aware that I was there, so it was kind of cool that way. And there was something about a tidal wave coming in, and I'm thinking, oh, that's kind of interesting. Best move to high ground, no? So that's kind of what I proceeded to do, and as soon as we got up a little bit higher on high ground, I look out, and there was this monstrous, I can't, like, it dwarfed everything. Monstrous wave, but I'll tell you what was different about it. It was the color of amethyst. It was glowing, and it had all this beautiful indigo and violet all around it, like this. There was nothing fearful about it, and I just got a chance to see it coming towards, like from a long way off, coming towards the shore. And then how you do in dreams, you go, well, I'll have a look at it from a different perspective, and of course, next thing you know is I'm aerial, airbound, and I'm getting a look at it as it's coming ashore from a side view. The next thing you know is I'm back on the ground, way up on the high ground. And anyway, the feeling I got was, see, violet represents spirituality, peace, it's an incredible here actually, because I don't do this too often, but I actually looked it up. That's kind of unusual for me to do that, but anyway, it was violet denotes high spirituality, religious aspiration, purification, affection, gentleness, charm, and peacefulness, and it's a sense of intuitive understanding, right? So I thought, and that was actually the vibe it gave me, is like there was this beautiful understanding coming ashore for all. And anyway, so I decided to share that with you guys. Yeah, just another one of those things. Now, where was I going to go? Oh yeah, I was getting a bit ethereal on this kind of stuff. Oops, better send that or let people know that we're actually on the air. Sorry guys, I forgot to write the time, but I really wasn't, prepped to do a show tonight other than video, but I didn't put my little black dress on for nothing, so I thought, well, I'm going to get on the air. Scare people this way, Anyway, yeah, we've had some pretty amazing shows over the last little while. I've had a lot of people contact me about Opt and, about this and about that and about the other. And as you can imagine, I do get a lot of people I chat with all day. One sec. One of my nasty habits, I do like having the occasional smoke. But anyway, there we go. What was I going to say there? Yeah, had a wonderful chat with Greg from In5D this morning. What a beautiful soul, and wrote an amazing article. And of course, if you get the chance, get over to In5D and check out a lot of Greg's writings. He's a very enlightened being, and just it's a joy to read some people's work, because they're coming at it from the heart perspective, and that's the kind of stuff I resonate with. Of course, go figure. And had a chance to chat with him this morning and go over a few things, and just talk about stuff in general. And the energy is quite the same. I don't know about you guys, but I've certainly felt a lift in the energy. That happened, I guess would have been Saturday, March 1st, or Friday, whatever the hell March 1st was. I don't know anymore. I don't really pay attention to the calendar much, other than, well, hey, is there a key date coming up, and what are the alignments and what have you. A lot of great stuff that Arthur Christian's been putting out with regards to rebutting the fallacy. And I'm going to say it out loud, and I'm going to say it proud and clear. The fallacy that Opt is, and it's all based in consumer stuff, and I'm not really into that. That's Babylon. Sorry, hard to keep things lit out here, but anyway. Yeah, oh, by the way, yeah, you can call in. Area code 661-467-2401. That's area code 661-467-2401. And if you're on Skype, just all you got to do, if the Skype button isn't readily visible, just refresh the page and it'll show up. Sometimes it takes a couple of refreshes to do it, but I'd love to hear from people. Actually, better check Skype to see who's yabbering away there. Nope. And I'm actually hoping, I'm not sure if Dean is going to be doing this show tonight. I haven't heard anything, but I'm hoping he will. And I'm going to be heading over to have a little chat with Sam Muggsy on her show, just to have a listen in tonight. And I had a chat with her today. Another beautiful soul. I'm very, very lucky. All things considered, I'm always grateful. As bad as it can get, there's always something to look at and go, yeah, I got lots to be grateful for. Hey, I've got breath in my lungs and a mic in my face, so I'm good to go, right? So there you go. Oh yeah, okay, thank you, Tracy. Yes, he is doing a show. And Tracy, if you feel like it, Global Fact 2012. So Dean will be on the air tonight. So I'll definitely be downloading that after the fact and having a listen. I did have a few words back and forth with him there a couple of days ago. And Dean, as always, is in great spirits. Fighting Irish. Gemini, what do you expect? But there it is. Where was it going? Yeah, lots of interesting stuff going on too. Again, I'm looking at stuff from a neutral observer perspective, which is, I got to tell you, it's very difficult a lot of times because you've got people contacting you, and they want to get your take on this, that, and the other, and I prefer to stay, neutral. And then I finally hit a point where it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing, and it has no bearing on what you're doing, but this is what I see, this is why, and And that's exactly why I am most certainly not opting in, you see, because one of the problems when you start, aligning or allying yourself with groups is you lose your individuality. And really, what needs to happen here is the collective needs to come to the individual, not the other way around. It's like with my songwriting days, we had a musical community that needed to be accepted by the people coming into it, not the community accepting the individuals. So we did everything backwards. Kind of been doing that my whole life, so it seemed to work better that way. That way, there's no egos and there's no need for one, and you've got a whole myriad of things going on right now. Of course, the Queen tuck and tail, basically. I mean, you can call it whatever, the shits we'll call it, but and going to hospital, whatever. I don't wish ill on anyone, even her. It's like, that's just not my nature, because that's just a part of me. Why would I condemn more parts of me instead of trying to get it healed? And that's kind of where I'm at with things, is like, you got to find that compassionate place, guys. And it is about healing, because the more you hate outside of yourself, the more you're hating yourself on the inside. And I kind of chose to stop doing that. Did that long enough. It's not really conducive to a very spiritual nature. At least I found that anyway. But anyway, she, there's lots of things going on. You can look at it from the perspective of, what Kevin and Annette's done, and, sending out, what do you call it, the verdicts, basically, that, the guilty and, quote, arrest warrants, unquote, and you've got what Optum is doing, and you've got what other people are doing, and you name it, the list is endless, and every one of them will probably at some level, take responsibility for, look what I did. But see, the fact is, and this is where I stand back, and it's not to stand in judgment of anything, but everything, regardless of whether I agree with it or not, or I'm in line with it or not, I'm always looking for the intent. And even if it is a shill operation or whatever, you still can't take away the true intent of those people that are perchance being duped into something that they wouldn't necessarily get into if they weren't in the position they were in. Most of us are in fairly precarious positions. We're sick and tired of it. We're bored of this game. You got a bunch of ignoramuses running around trying to run a planet into the ground, and we're just trying to stop it. And of course, we're the ones that are vilified for doing that. We're the ones that are marginalized and attacked on all levels, which, is kind of backwards when you think about it. We're trying to make a better world. Screw you, I actually had an individual tag me today from northern Iraq, and this individual started talking about how good the U.S. Army is, and it sounded like a young guy anyway, so it's like, how good an army is. The only thing armies are good for is walking around, raping, murdering, and pillaging. I'm not saying all of them. It's just the whole vibe for me. That's all it is, and that's not to make less of any veterans or whatever. But I was watching another Bill Donahue video. He's such a beautiful way with words. If you're wishing people well as they go off to war, you're praising the Antichrist, which, to me, the Antichrist is the malintent, right? You can have the Christ consciousness or the Antichrist consciousness. One is one of creation, one is one of destruction. And you can make it that simple if you want. I do. Kind of works for me. So the more that you want to help and be creative and look after the planet and look after your family, your friends, and everyone around you, is more of a Christ-like nature. And the more that you try to screw your neighbor over, do this, that, and the other, and shortchange people and deal them out and whatever, and go to war and kill them. That to me is Antichrist stuff. So, and that's I know it's a simplistic way to look at it, but that's kind of how I see things. It just makes it easier for me. There's it's either good and bad, which good and bad and everything, and I just chose to find the middle ground, But anyway, there you go. So, actually, Tracy, I know you're listening. There was something you had mentioned in the talk in our chat here. I was just wondering if you felt like coming on and maybe sharing that. I mean, tonight's a good night because it's like no holds barred, and it's up to you. So anyway, just put the word out for you. Going back to the board to see if there's anybody there. You guys don't love me. There's no one calling in. No, you just rather hear me rant for a couple hours. Wait, I'm not going to do that tonight. What else is going on? Oh yeah, we got a comet that's going to be low on the western horizon for the month of March, which immediately brought to mind card 17 of the tarot, which is the star, or low flying comet kind of thing. So it just seems better placed in March. It just kind of works better that way. What else was I going to cover? Because I really hadn't planned on doing this tonight. I was planning on doing something entirely different, but hey, whatever, improv's good. Oh, and I guess everyone's heard about the earthquake that struck Castle Gandolfo, or Gandolfo, whatever, I don't know how you pronounce it. And isn't it funny, you know, the Pope runs from the Vatican after a lightning strike, gets to the enclave where he, you know, that's kind of the residence and little shake, rattle, and roll. Probably something that most people don't know about with regards to that building is there are 2 observatories with telescopes on top of that building. You've got to start asking yourself the question of, you know, what's with this, you know, lust for the stars that apparently the Vatican has. I mean, they've got that binocular telescope called Lucifer, which is one of the most preeminent telescopes on the planet right now. They seem to have a whole lot of money that they're throwing into this observatory stuff. And you got to ask yourself, why? What are they looking for? So there's lots definitely hidden there. I think over the coming days and weeks, there's going to be a whole lot more truth revealed than most people are probably ready for, and that's okay. You know, a little shakedown on the planet's good. Might startle some of these low IQ beings that are running around, you know, beating other people up for whatever reason, tickets, money, you know, serving their masters, chasing cars and stuff. Who knows? Anyway, it's bloody cold out here. It's probably about -10. People are Skyping, so I'm going to see if people are going to throw... Oh, I'll bring Tracy in. Just try to call in. No, that's nonsense. Joanne, if you want, I can pull... If you want to call in, I can pull you in via Skype, so just let me know. And I'm just going to pop up to the host and slide Tracy over there, and Tracy's in the call, so we'll just wait for her to get on the line and see what we can come up with, see what we can talk about. I was even hey, there you are. I was even thinking of spinning a tune or two tonight as well, you know, because
that's a good idea.
Yeah, well, I haven't done it in a very long time, so hear the real me, right? How are you doing?
Well, I'm pretty good. I've had a productive day.
Oh, good.
Ready to move locations from Calgary to who knows where.
That a girl. Yeah.
So what were you referring to? What was I commenting on? I looked back on the chat. I didn't see.
Oh, it's just one of the recent posts you'd done with regards to a gentleman you were talking to.
Oh, yeah, just, you know, how things go. One conversation led to another, and I just had a fascinating conversation. His name's Rob, I'll say that, and it just dawned on me that, you know, he might like to come on the show and your show and share what he knows, but it's a little premature because I couldn't even really elaborate, but he was in the system for quite a while, and he's not now, and he's associated with different factions of awake and aware individuals around Turtle Island.
Oh, good.
And yeah, so he's got several different perspectives and angles, and, you know, we chatted a bit about our hero Dean and, you know, what he just went through, and, you know, he mentioned things like peace bonds and, you know, a few other things that are just, you know, pretty simple. He had a really calm energy, and yeah, so we're going to talk again, and I'll find out, you know, his bio, if he's got a site or if he's interested.
Oh,
you're
right
kind of guy. Yeah, you're kind of guy. Whoop.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm here. I just had to meet out there for a sec.
No, I can hear me in the background here.
Oh, you shouldn't be able to. And Joanne tagged me back, so let's see if Joanne wants to jump in here as well. Go ahead. Okay, I'll bring you into the call, Joe. So just give me a second here. And the hostess with a mostess, baby. Just bring. And let's see.
Is that Joanne?
That's Joanne. And I'm hoping that grabbed. Didn't look like it did.
Capital J, capital A.
Capital J, capital A. Yep. So we'll just wait for her to come on. Again, I'm really, really, really lucky, blessed to have so many awesome people around that are literally, you know, click. Hey, how's it going? You know. Anyway, Joanne, are you there? Oh, just waiting.
Yes, I am.
There you are. How are you doing, hon? Good to hear your voice.
Well, I have a question for you before we start.
Okay.
Who do I listen to? My headsets, you, or something else, you?
Well,
oh, I got it on another tab. Wait a minute, I can answer this question myself. Hold
yeah,
on.
I was going to say, just close the tab, or you'll be hearing this really cool reverb effect with a long delay.
Got it. Got it.
There you go.
I am so glad that I was able to answer that myself, because that means, if you think about it, I've been paying attention when you've been telling people that.
There you go.
Or you could look at it like it's an instant manifestation.
Oh, and we are so approaching this time frame where that is our emerging reality, aren't we?
Oh, hugely. I don't know if you caught the little story I was talking about with, what do you call it, the dream this morning, with that beautiful violet tidal wave tsunami that was, rushing ashore. So, yeah.
I wanted to jump on that if I could and just make a couple of comments.
Love to hear your voice.
Thank you. Well, dreams are one of my passions, paying attention to them. They are one of the most richest gifts to us.
I couldn't agree more, Joanne. Sorry, I've got a couple of distractions in the background here.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if I dropped, because if I do, forgive me and I'll try to get right back on. But I just have such a passion for dreams. I've been documenting my own for, I would say, at least 25 years. And I have notebooks going back. Oh, and I can actually even remember many of the details and the symbols in hundreds of my dreams. The whole concept, well, just to kind of briefly share with your listeners, I have been in Christianity for 28 years of my adult life. And just last summer, I had an awakening. So just to kind of give you a bit of orientation so that you can understand where I'm going in certain points as I share with you, like a macro overview of dreams and why I'm passionate about that and how I've been documenting them for so long. So in those 25 years, of course, I was very passionate about my pursuit of Jesus and listening and adhering to the Bible's admonitions and teachings. And when you do experience your dreams, you know firsthand that there's something really cool about them. The intensity that you feel, the oneness that you feel, the diversity, the symbols. You put it together yourself outside of the box of religion, telling you that this is something that is organic to us and very important for us. Diving into what they mean is a whole different story, which most people don't. I would go so far as to say most people don't even think about their dreams that much, and they dissipate so fast in the mornings. It takes discipline to engage yourself with your dreams, and a long time ago, I experienced a little bit of understanding about this, so I really did put a lot of effort into paying attention to my dreams, drawing them out. There was actually, I hope you don't mind because I'm really kind of going off on a tangent here, but it does have a lot of relevance.
I started it.
You did.
Yeah.
So now you're getting the full Monty.
Hey, it's an open night, guys. Let's just have a chat, a fireside chat tonight.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Well, there came a point when I became so skilled with my dreams that I developed dictionaries and workshops and videos and teaching tools for all of this, because in looking back at what I was going through and looking at the symbols of my dreams, you can make a connection. You can be forewarned about a lot of things. You can obtain peace, because really what you're doing is listening to your higher self. I mean, my goodness gracious, when you go to sleep and you can astral project and go to all these multiverses. You can go forward in time, backward in time. It's absolutely endless, the portal that we have through our pineal gland and the DMT that is released and the experiences that this brings for us, particularly in these dimensions that we experience under while we're dreaming. But tidal waves, as you mentioned, or monstrous waves, that's a very common symbol in a lot of our dreams as we go through the tumults of life, the testings of life, the trials and the tribulations. Yes, certainly these are represented by waves and other, hurricanes, tornadoes, things like that, things that uproot. And that's what change is all about, isn't it? It's about uprooting. It's not a superficial temporal thing that we're really longing for, but we're longing for something that goes straight down deep into who we really are to bring that core root change. And so when we look at dreams like this, it really gives us a beautiful picture of what we have agreed before we came here to encounter, to go through, to learn lessons, and to beautify our higher self with, more virtue. And we also can see what's ahead to prepare ourselves. We can see what's behind in terms of the baggage we have, the damage, the emotional trauma, the exploitation we've been through. And we can forgive ourselves. It's really like a divination tool. It's a mirror. If we hold it up to ourselves, it's a mirror of ourselves. And isn't that what everybody wants? A glance at themselves deep inside? So I think that's amazing that you brought that up, because it is this time. This is an apocalyptic era that we have entered into, but also are moving out of. But this interim of what's happening, all the exposures, the unveiling, there is so much knowledge that is traversing the earth at, beyond lightning speed. So many people are awakening. So many things are being, the cloak is being lifted. The veil is being removed. And people's sins are being exposed. And I don't mean like, in the way the church teaches, your little, whatever you feel is a moral character failure sin. We're talking some deep, global government corruption of the most heinous satanic kind is being exposed. We all knew it was there. Now, the time has come where their manifestation has happened as well. Their harvest is nigh, even happening now as we speak. So there's two sides to this coin, this apocalyptic coin. There's the unveiling, and then there's also the beautifying, the illumination. So it's an awesome time to be alive, and we have to continue to encourage each other. And I do agree with you, Kate. I was taking some notes. You said that some people are duped into, supporting all of these different facets of what, is going on right now with the collective community coming together and being involved in different projects and different movement, starting these movements. The collective direction it's going in, it all looks great. I agree with you. Individually, what's going on inside of these organizations, time will tell us that. It always does. It really, truly does. And I want to encourage everyone to look beyond people's personal moral failures, and don't use that as your benchmark, baseline to judge the movement, because everyone has moral failures. Everyone has the cycles, the cyclical movements of life where they have made bad decisions, and the cycle came around and they paid for it. So we've all been there. But I just want to encourage everyone to, hold that. Like Kate said, it's compassion. We want to, find the compassion in this, in a place of compassion. We don't want to hate. We don't want to spread that vibration. And so these things, I'm taking them to heart as well, and I'm introspecting myself. And there's times when I use all caps and lots of exclamations. It doesn't come from a heart of hate, but I can see how it might accidentally create a vibration like that. So, I really take that to heart, and I'm all about that, and I appreciate the reminder of that. These people, most of them, I think they are human. I think some of them are clones, and I don't know, what the mixture of might be thrown in, but at the end of the day, it's about our reaction. It's not about what they really are. It's about us and our reaction. And so we want to hold ourselves high. We want our vibration to be, the highest of virtue that we can possibly manifest at that time according to what we've been through, according to what we know. And we want to join our vibration with others of like mind. It's not about surrounding yourself with yes men. I've been accused of that so many times. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It's about being with people who have the same vibration, the same goal, the same vision, the same purpose, the same heart desire for humanity. Like you said, we want to make this, you were just talking about that, how you feeling marginalized and attacked, at all levels for not buying into the beast system, the matrix. and wanting, to help people be educated on this and the places of deception, and to gift them with knowledge. That's what we're called to be, saviors. And so we're stepping up to the plate, and we're being the saviors. And it is a hard role. We get persecuted, we get stoned, we get falsely accused, maligned. Lots of things happen, even more than just a word against us. Things are actually perpetrated to make life difficult. But that's part of the journey as well. We have to endure that. People who are forerunners and stepping out there to be the first people to bring news, be the people or whatever, ultimately it's every individual that's carrying forward truth, individually and collectively. But there are people out there. This is true. It does happen. And so we have to encourage each other and multiply our energy and allow it to exponentially just explode, which I think that's really happening right now.
You know what, Joanne, I just want to know who gave you that big bag of nails that you're hitting every one of them on the head with. That's all I want to know.
Well, I'm just going to shut it right now because I think I need to take a breath and a drink of my water out of my water bottle.
Well, you take a drink and take a breath. No, I'm just loving this. And this is exactly what we're talking about. It's about, being that change and making that choice. You are your own savior. You've been convinced otherwise, and I hazard to say that there is no one coming to save you. You're it. And as a matter of fact, you're coming to save everyone else. You're the savior, right? And if you can't save yourself, well, then you can't save me, you see. So I'm doing my absolute best to save myself, because in that process, as part of the consciousness, I get to take on the responsibility of hopefully being a part of saving the rest of me. That's you. We are one. And again, this is not to be confused with the hive mind. This is a problem with groupthink. And the minute you give yourself away to a group, or a concept within a group, and you identify, I've done this, I'm part of this group and that group, what you have done is you have recreated duality by saying, I'm in this group and I'm separate from all the rest of humanity because of it. And that's one of the reasons why I stand as humanity. I don't, I have a quote, I love this. Have you ever stopped to think about the word in religion? What's your denomination? Isn't that the same as what denomination is the bill that you're using, a 20 or a 10 or a 5?
That's a great point you make there. And I'm currently going through a lot of, I think the encounters, let me just kind of backtrack 1 second. When I said I was in Christianity for 28 years, and I had a spiritual awakening last summer, for me, that was the first time that I really felt born again. And so immediately all of my indoctrination fell off of me overnight. It was extremely painful. I think it was like a 2-week process of going through the fear, the dark soul of the night experience. But, when I realized how intense this was, how deceived I had been, I was a minister, an ordained minister for the last 8 years. So this was a very deep shaking that I went through. I closed down my school that I had, the ministry school that I had, shut down all my assemblies, and just walked away from it. And that was a very difficult decision. I had a lot of people upset with me, but I realized instantly that I could no longer go on in that deception, teaching that, and filling people's souls with those things. And so walking away from that took a lot of courage. And so, when I sit here and listen to you, since I have met you, since I have, the things that we have done, I have learned so much. It has been life-enhancing to listen to these words. And I have to agree, it really resonates with me. When you identify with a group, you lose your individuality. And so now that I have publicly come out and said, folks, yeah, I just, 28 years as a Christian, in my adult life, and the last 8 years as a minister, and I'm walking away from all that. Boy, you want to talk about shaking up a lot of cages, having to stand in my truth, and then having to take the stones. And then now, I'm going through this time where I'm saying, people, you really got to even labeling yourself and identifying with groups yourself. So now that I'm coming through it on the other side, healed, excited, amazed, can't believe I was ever in that box called Christianity to begin with. And now I want to help other people, just like you're saying, you know, you don't want to be alone in your liberty. You want to spread it. It is really powerful. But there's phases that you go through with people on all different levels of their ignorance, their rejection, their mockery, you know, and you can't take it personally. You have to stand in your truth and know that they will. It's a seed inside of their soul, and someone else is going to come along and water it. And one day there is going to be an explosion of awakening inside of their consciousness. And wow, you know, then talk about that 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and on exponential awakening. So much that you're saying is resonating with me and has. And, you know, again, I just, rambling on a little bit, but go ahead, jump in.
Joanne, you're doing awesome. No, very, very inspiring. I love listening to you speak. And we spent, about an hour and a half, 2 hours on the phone one day, where I got the story. And all during that telling me of what you've been through and what changed and whatever, I saw a modern version of Bill Donahue, and I think back to what Bill went through in terms of, you know, being a pastor of a church and all the rest of it, and then one day finally going, wait a minute, you know, the truths are in there. Don't kid yourself. I mean, those books are filled with it. But when you go literal on it, it changes the whole panorama.
Oh, gosh.
And the one thing that I do want to make sure I get across to people tonight, the minute you join a group, the minute you decide you're part of something, the minute you say you're white, black, brown, red, yellow, Christian, Muslim, male, female, gay, straight, whatever, the minute you do that, you have separated yourself from the rest of humanity. I have just chosen to remain neutral.
And you create discrimination. Groups are what caused discrimination. Haven't we learned?
Yeah.
Opt in, opt out. It's so high school and old paradigm. I can't even believe it.
Yeah, I was listening to a few things, and you know, when I start hearing things that I know that have come out of my face, and at certain times were quite original when I said them, and they're coming back, and I'm hearing things that Santo has said, and so many others. It's almost like they picked all these little things and quotes and resonant things and whatever, and they threw them all into one bucket, and they thought, okay, well, we've got all these.
They're exploiting spirituality too. Yeah. They're being very flip about being and doing and mixing it all up with, you know, legal remedy in commerce with people that aren't showing their faces. Like, give me a break.
Well, here's an example. I'm going to give you a literal example. I said, well, what about, UCC, if you want to talk about signatures and opting, all the rest of it, UCC 3-419, accommodating party, blah, 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 and then the answer comes back, well, you know, you just have to be and do, and, you know, take your fluffy bunnies and shove them back up your ass where they came from. I need some answers, and I'm going to be the stickler to ask for them, and I'm going to stand here with my heels dug in until I get them.
Yeah, because this is a repeat of what we just went through, and I can't believe that so many people that have been, you know, like, ask them fair questions, turn around and shoot the messenger, you know, instead of getting the message that everything's divinely delivered, and if they're getting an opportunity to, you know, question their choice, then they could be grateful for that rather than, you know, attacking those messengers that are saying, are you sure? That's what we're saying, is like, are you sure? Because there's clues that there's not enough information. There's so much happening.
Okay, well, let's look at the good side of Opt, okay? Because I love good and bad. Mm-hmm. Okay, the bad side is, for me, is
the group.
It feels like a co-op, and it's a group, and it's a divisive thing.
It's in commerce. It's a private corporation.
Right. But here's the good thing, because a lot of people that may not have been awake yet, or just surfing the web because it came out in such a big splash, they're going to be drawing other people in, and they're going to say, well, what's this all about? And it's going to expose probably a lot of people for the very first time to this whole truther movement. I hate calling it that. It's I hate using the New Ager terms and all the rest.
But in that way, it exploits. It's exploiting people that are at that's what I was saying the other night, adept or normal. And there's not a lot of time here to download enough information to really, get what they're saying in a very, I think, in a flip way.
That's where we come in.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we come in and say, everybody stand back, have a look. Just have a look. Dare to be right and dare to be wrong at the same time. And if you can do that, you remove the ego, the superego, the id, all of it. Right? You're actually...
I don't think we're done with other things coming and going yet.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So why would this all of a sudden, okay, we're there. We're choosing this.
Well, here's the thing. The difference between the position that we're standing in, and I will say it, I'm already there. I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for others to show. And for me, I'm there. Okay? So I'm going to hold this position.
Yeah, me too. I'm there too.
Me three.
Absolutely, sister.
Well, here's the thing. We've made the resolution. We've made that resolve that to stand in truth and work in that direction. So in that light, we're there. What we need to do is just maintain the position. All we have to do is hold on.
Right. Because we've discovered we're not seekers. Like, I don't like it when somebody says, "Oh, you're a seeker." No, I'm not a seeker. Actually, I've discovered some things. It's not that I know all, but I've discovered, and that's where my confidence lies in what I've discovered, what I know for sure.
And you know what I've discovered since my awakening last summer?
What's that?
I'm the treasure.
Aww.
And I'm the gift.
And the light, the stars,
and the light.
Want to bring.
I'm the master. I'm the Lord. I'm the king. I'm the queen. I'm the goddess. I'm the god. I'm everything.
Joanne, I was thinking of I already went through it in my head today as far as an essay. I've got one in my head. Are you the dreamer or the dream master? And
I'm so glad you brought up dream again. I have to share something when you're through.
Yeah, well, the whole idea is if you are but the dreamer, that whatever gets thrown out in front of you can distract you, be it Hollywood, be it mainstream, be it fear porn, be it whatever you want to call it. I just want to use the video we did last week with QL Television. Mm-hmm. Of course, being the nature of being I am, I get a preponderance of interesting and prods and attacks. Apparently the shows are very insecure about their own beingness, but whatever. The thing is, where was I going with this? This was a critical point. Of course, this always happens. As soon as I get on that train, it gets
the video last week with Kevin on that and the news of the exposure and the trial and all.
What we did, that my perspective on that night was this. What we did as a group was we exposed the possibility.
Yes.
We changed the dreamscape. And that's why it went viral, because all of a sudden these are things that people want to see and they're not seeing it. Now it's in the consciousness. Whether, regardless of what comes out of it, what people need to understand is the power of the possibility. And the minute they can decide to take their own canvas, instead of relying on everything they've been taught, indoctrinated and whatever with, just deciding finally to say, okay, well, I know nothing, I'm going to get rid of that and I'm going to start again. That's a big pill to swallow. You've done it, I've done it, Tracy's done it, Santos, so many of us have done that. And only when you get into that position are you in a position to learn again by unlearning what's already been programmed. And that's all we did last week, was we presented into the consciousness the possibility. And as a net result of that possibility, there was a lot of consciousness shifting, having a look at it, going, yeah, wouldn't that be awesome? And, where attention goes, energy flows.
And on that note, I think, you said that we are the consciousness of humanity. What was that phrase that you used?
Again, well, we are. I can say that in so many different ways.
What was the specific phrase you used? Anyways, what we're also doing is we're seeding their consciousness. And that is a master's work. We intentionally know how to direct through what we are speaking with. We're oracles. When we speak as oracles, we seed the collective consciousness of humanity. And we have a very powerful influence. Just as powerful as what they do on that side, the powers that were. And so we have to see ourselves now as the powers that have arrived.
The dreamer versus the dream master.
As long as we keep it in the now and in the heart and in the flow of creation, and it doesn't, it's not our ego that's deciding that it's going to do that, because then we're distorted from the light. We're not a pure vessel.
Of course, absolutely. And that's a very, very important point. The intention must be pure.
That's it. And if anyone has listened to me for any length of time, for me, it is all about intention. And that's why, I mean, I look at things like opt and other things that are going on. I'm looking at them for, the intention. Now, if it is a malevolent intention, that can just as easily be co-opted, because it's going to expose itself for what it is anyway. At least that's what I found.
Hey, you know what Cliff High said a few years ago to me in a private email? I had this idea. When I first had my awakening, I was so upset. I went into action mode, and I didn't know that he was maybe, I don't know about Cliff High. But anyway, he said anything that's a good idea, he said it's a good idea, that's a really good idea, but anything that's a good idea in this game will be co-opted quicker than you can even imagine.
Yeah, again, yeah,
there
absolutely.
You go. It was like the way he said it. I just went, okay. So I'm not going to go to the drawing board and think up a big creative idea and try and promote it, and then I realized things are going to change so fast that it's already happened on the etheric, right? Where things happen a little slower here in the physical. So who do we think we are? We're just letting our egos get in the way of creation. This is what I was saying the other night. We got to stop efforting and doing anything. So the being and doing is actually it's a head fuck, just like the last paradigm, pardon me, because we actually need to be in the feminine receptive being and allowing to land, to ground what we've already, many of us, however many strong we are, okay, have asked for with our clear intention. We've put it out there with our emotions, in our meditations, in our, conversations, and, our higher selves and Source knows. We couldn't be any more clear. So what do we keep doing and asking for? It's like we go and order our favorite oysters Rockefeller. Do we, we order it and then second guess that it's coming? Is it coming? Did I order it? Do you think she's going to bring it? Do you think they have any? I wonder, what are we doing? Maybe there's something else I should get. No, we just order it and then we allow it. And then it comes and there it is and we're eating it, enjoying it. But if we keep efforting and we keep arguing and changing our mind about who's doing it and who's not, then we're not going to ground it. I've learned that personally in my own toroidal field, so I imagine it's got to be the same for the collective.
Yeah, we end up co-opting ourselves most of the time, where we get that good idea. And what you brought up with regards to the ordering the, Rockefeller, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to prep those, being raw and everything. But, the fact of the matter remains is, and I've said it many times, is people have been so conditioned into this drive-through mentality that if they don't get their burger at Burger Thing or Rotten Ronnie's within 2 minutes, they're screaming high bloody murder because it's fast food. Sometimes.
Yeah, but who are we talking about? Now we're not talking about masters, are we, Joanne? We're not talking about those of us that this is the master class. Weren't we told before, or weren't we led to believe that we were in a kindergarten here? What do we know? It's a kindergarten. Well, no, it's a master class, and there's many working on their masters, but there's the normals and adepts that haven't woken up yet, or that's why we can amp up our light. The more we amp up our light, the more people that haven't a clue yet, by maybe no fault of their own, that's by design, can benefit from that. And it's not something we have to say we're really doing. We're not really doing it. We're being who we're meant to be. A pure vessel for the light, and then anybody basically in our vicinity is going to benefit from us grounding, holding that light, that light to the ground. And what is light? It's love, it's information, it's it's our nature. It's our nature, our higher virtues, and our innate nature to be that way, to be. So I'm looking forward to the shift here where we stop efforting and doing, because if if this is the spiritual journey, it is really about getting to that point of allowing, I think, because we're talking about manifesting the new earth.
Yeah,
and that's the critical part.
Yeah, what you're speaking of now is what's called a wu wei, which is allowing nature to take its course.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to redirect the river that's going to find its own way anyway. And that for me has been the bane of humanity, in that everything that is natural, man has tried to change it, changing the course of rivers, damage.
That's the machine, that's the beast, right? Now we got to align back with nature. That's the simplest way to do this. Align with all that's nature. And somebody said to me, well, how could this be enforced? Well, what do you mean? It's the force of nature is rising up in all of us. The divine eminent principle of unconditional love and protection of the people and the planet is rising up in us. So it's the efforting that we do. The only efforting we really do is from the heart in the now moment when a situation presents itself, and we recognize now that we're being called to make that action there, and then the next one and the next one. But we're not. It's not of an agenda. It's not of a group agreement that we're going to take that effort. It's just in that spontaneous now moment of creation that we effort. Otherwise, we're waiting for instructions from the divine, that force of nature that's going to enforce this change through us, through our beingness and through our doingness.
And another thing that I do like to bring to the table on this one as well is, while we're busy trying to think our way through things, we're doing it exactly backwards.
Right.
And that's where, the great teachers told us on many occasions. And
hey, speaking of that, I'd love to jump in with the dream thing again. When Joanne mentioned it being a tool, and then you did as well. Can I share something?
I don't know, can you? Go ahead. Of course you can.
Okay, so here it goes. I discovered what a tool dreams can be. Now I want to ask you both. Is it not the fourth density, the astral, where all of our thoughts and where the dreams are, or where we go when we dream, that's just as real as this consciousness? Isn't that the belief, the understanding? That it's not just a dream in our psyche, that there's really a realm, where the astral realm, where everything anybody's ever thought is actually kind of going on. Well, listen to this. So a friend came to me, and he was in a bad way, and he said, I need to talk. And I said, what's up? And I said, I feel you're hurting. And he said, I've just been accused by a family member 20 years ago of doing something, and I have no memory. And I said, well, hang on a second. And I knew him to be, a drinker. And I asked him if he was possibly intoxicated seriously on this, event. And he said, yeah. And I said, well, entities can, take over a body that's weakened like that. And it's just something I had learned that next night, two nights after. He said, I really need to know. And I had a dream, and it was vivid. When I woke up in the morning, him and I were on the side of a cliff in this dream, and we were working on something. We were bending over, working on some kind of contraption, when all of a sudden I looked over the ravine out into the big blue sky, and there was a bird, a huge, it wasn't an eagle, but I don't even know what kind of a bird it was, a vulture or something. It came swooping towards us, grabbed him, picked him up, dropped him into the ravine, came back to me and stared me down. And I remember this bird looking at me and me feeling no fear, but getting a very clear answer to my question. Did something happen? And was it possible that this guy wasn't even there in his body? And that told me that, yeah. Kate?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute there, and unmuted and muted again. It's crazy. Anyway,
that was a shamanic kind of experience for me, where I really got an answer, and it was so vivid that it was this guy and his scenario. I was quite blown away.
Oh no, I totally. Actually, Sandra just tagged me 1 second here, and waiting for my Avast to say the update has been done. Yeah, Sana was just tagged. 1 sec, guys. Actually, Joanne, jump in there for a sec.
I think Joanne dropped off.
She's still on the call. I can see. Oh no, okay. She did drop off.
Yeah.
No, she was there, and then, because I went and checked to see, because she was awful quiet. Let me see. She can rejoin the call.
Do you want me to drop off so they can jump in?
No. I've got you both in. I had you both in on the call with me here. Where did she go?
She didn't like my dream story.
I'm just going to try re-adding her to see if that helps. I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, she got a call to take support. Awesome, keep going. Okay, sorry, Joe. Let me just, I'll hang that one up. Just saw that. Okay, no problem.
She's really downloading the energy, isn't she? Wow.
Oh yeah, I love having chit chats with Joanne, and they definitely go on for a little bit, and it's beautiful because it's incredible energy, and to hear her story of how intensely on one side and what she'd been in for so very long, only to turn around and excuse me. Really, and for me, it's not really an inverse. What it is a course correction of understanding. I mean, she already had the spirituality there and that whole energy. But what she's done is she's taken that most powerful energy, saw the light of what was really going on, and started using the teachings instead of what the church was teaching. Let's go with what the teachers were teaching. And that's where she is, and just an absolute inspiration. Anytime I talk to her, it's like,
yeah, she's fun.
It doesn't matter. It's pure power there. One sec, I just want to Santo Collins actually.
Yeah, I hope somebody calls in and clarifies my explanation of dreams being an astral realm where it's just as real as this.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing, I'll jump in on that concept because yes, absolutely, it's as real as this, and that's why this whole thing of the dreamer or the dream master came into my psyche today, and it's where we get to, instead of being a dreamer at the mercy of someone else's dream mastering, it's time to take control of a lucid dream. And effectively what we have here in the physical universe is that lucid dream, so it's a slight change of perspective, not really that much, but, who's to say that what we're in right now in this physical aspect isn't the dream where, for a handful of hours every night we had to go home and kind of, offload, So that's, again, a mirror. Look at the mirror. We're living on the wrong side of that looking glass right now. So the more we get towards the truth and get these beautiful epiphanies and those aha moments, the closer we get back to our status as dream master versus being at the mercy of the Freddy Kruegers of this world. And that, for me, that's effectively what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people of the Freddy Krueger ilk that are manipulating and controlling this dream with billboards, basically. Billboards and TV and mainstream media of all sorts, magazines and.
Well, let's put them in the past tense at least. Oh
yeah, they are. It's most assuredly they've been in the past tense for a while now, and they know it. And talking with people that are doing certain court process and what have you, the feedback I'm getting there is of course they're going to change the rules. I spent 28 days in solitary. They'll change the rules to suit their needs. It doesn't matter about what's right and wrong, only that you believe in their system. That's
comply, yeah, and comply.
So
rat out your neighbor.
Yeah, and it's as simple as, excuse me, stop signing anything, stop writing contracts, stop going into commerce. And people say, well, what about my mortgage? And what about? Well, you're gonna have to make a choice.
Yeah, it's a tough.
It's you or your material possessions. What would you rather save? What are you going to take with you at the end of the day? And that is the only fundamental choice you have left.
Well, it's a matter of rising above your lower chakras, your need for survival, realizing that that's the old paradigm, the masculine ego need for survival, expanding the heart, which means including trusting creation, that what about your mortgage? Like, just drop that paradigm and recreate a new life where you don't have a mortgage payment in fraud, in legal fiction, illusion that doesn't really exist except it's got you in slavery.
Well, that's exactly the ground I stood on. Is I made a deal. As soon as something would epiphanize as truth, I would stand in it, regardless of how hard it was. And I got to tell you how gut-wrenching it was to finally bring everything to light. That dealing in a mortgage, dealing in anything with the banks, and all the rest of it was all pure and utter fraud of the dead Caesar fiction. And I stopped. I said, no more. I'm not going to play that game. And was holding them off very, very handily with, this and that and the other in terms of paperwork or whatever. Of course, they jump jurisdiction. They go to another city in order to try to pull this shit off because I had them sealed up and shut down in Guelph. So they went to Newmarket. So there's out of jurisdiction. That's a couple of mayors, the chief magistrates colluding to commit a further crime of fraud. So not only was it just, I wouldn't say a handful. There's more than a handful of people involved in the corporation of the city of Guelph that were behind this with the Bank of Montreal and all the rest of it. That wasn't good enough. They had to bring in more criminals from another jurisdiction. That's where the law firm was, KRMC, a bunch of criminals. Those are robo-signers, by the way. And, the Newmarket mayor, the Newmarket courts, and everything else. So, they can talk about jurisdiction all day long. It's all bullshit, But the thing is,
it's the machine, because they represent the machine. They're not thinking. They're not being human. They're just in procedure mode.
Well, yeah. At the same time, I mean, I think it was John last night had said that these are and Hugh as well. These are our brothers and sisters. These are not uniforms. These are not titles and office and everything else. These are my brothers and sisters that have taken it upon themselves to cut my throat.
But until they wake up, and in fairness, you woke up. When did you? I woke up, incrementally in stages. At 9 o'clock, at 9 years old, I woke up again. At 35, I had another awakening. 2006, I was like another step, right? So that's the side of the contract they chose to help us wake up, right? The other side of it. I mean, it's the balance is in the paradox. The healing is in the merging of accepting the two sides.
Well, again, that's where compassion comes in. Like people can sit around all day long and rant and rave about the pedophilia queen and murdering and all the rest of it, the Pope and what have you. At the end of the day, that's still your mirror.
If you visualize everybody that's ever abused you or abused an animal or anything, and visualize them when they're 5 years old, it really shifts that, and you suddenly realize that we've all been abused. By the time we were 5, somebody's violated our sense of self, because of our system, inadvertently or deliberately, right?
Exactly. So. And that's one of the reasons why people have got to start to learn to leave the hate behind. And the measure of what we go through individually and collectively is going to be the real test. That's going to be the true measure of yourself. And can you handle it? And can you still find love? And there is the litmus test of litmus tests. You're going to find the pH balance in that one, baby. And the thing is, once you can start looking at it, and you said it very eloquently, and I've brought this point up many times, can you look at 9/11 as being a good and evil thing equally? Of course you can. At least I can. You still there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Here?
Yeah.
I did mute. I muted.
Okay, no, I'm used to hearing something. It was like this little background, so as soon as it stopped, I'm going, are we on the air? I'm sorry. Call me a paranoid radio host. But anyway, no, we're not calling out too much tonight. So I think they're, we're just giving them pure love, pure truth. And, if they want to hate us for that, that's fine too. That's, we're the mirror as much as there are. So we get to be the ones to show them compassion to their loathing and self-hate. And I gotta tell you, when you stop and think about the lives that these individuals have left, and that's a beautiful way to look at it. Think of them when they're 3, 4, and 5 years old, that innocent child, and what has been done to them to corrupt them on their life path, for them to start doing the things they were doing. It was like, I think it was the Cardinal Keith O'Brien that I had to laugh. I hope I could find the link, because I had actually made a comment to it. Let me just go to my Facebook page and I'll look it up and I'll bring it around. But what this Cardinal was saying, he was feeling bad because he, didn't live up to what was expected of him. And I'm thinking, look at you, you're still throwing it on something else. Why are you looking outside of yourself for what others expected of you? At what point did you not expect it of yourself to not rape a child? Like, why is that somebody else's issue? Why is that, the blame goes elsewhere? So again, it's even when they're admitting it, they still can't admit it, and only at the point where they realize that my, that was fun. Okay, we're back on. Let me see. Trace, I'm going to pull you back in here. Yeah, my Skype went down, and it tried to reboot itself all by itself with a separate Skype. How's that? Isn't that fun? Anyway, so just so you know, that was exciting. Hey, Trace?
Oh, yeah, you dropped off the air, eh?
Yeah, no, totally. That's something they love to do.
Typical.
Yeah. I was just saying there that it was weird because my Skype dropped out, and then it wanted to reboot a second Skype, like the same thing. So you're already logged in. It's like, oh god. Anyway, so just a lot of nonsense and silliness, but that's okay. We're back. What are the odds? We'll get back eventually, and at least now I can say, hey, you can listen to our show. It's not even 2 hours long. It's definitely going to be, well, whether it gets edited out. So hopefully people have the patience to listen and carry through. But I guess the whole idea behind that is to lose as many listeners as possible during the show. But, oh well. I know we got a lot of steadfast truth types out there that really know what's going on. And, yeah, see, I've got 2 Skypes open here. One of them wants me to sign in. The other one's open. Messed up.
So how do they hack? What do they do when they
I don't know. It's see, that's not even within my realm of understanding, because it's not something I would do. So I haven't picked up on that energy yet. So, and I really don't want it because it's a waste of time. But I mean, if some people get entertained doing that and look what I can do, no problem. That's when you can turn around and say, enjoy kindergarten. And boy, oh boy, imagine that this is exactly what you dreamed you were going to do in your life. Really? Going around messing on computers? That was your life purpose? Okay, well, as long as you can handle that, that's fine. I would prefer to travel the world, meet lots of beautiful family. We're all family, and turn this place into something natural again by just leaving it alone. But anyway, yeah, just quite something. Just checking my Skype now to see who else has. Because Santo had tagged me, by the way, so I'm not sure. Oh, hey Pat, any time you want to jump in, go ahead, love. And that's the thing, especially when when I'm just running an improv. I don't normally do shows on Monday night. We're normally on QL television, so it was like 6:15. I'm thinking, yeah, I can do a show tonight. Yeah, okay. Like I said, I didn't put on the LBD for nothing, so let's get on it. Let's play. But
and like you said, you can always play a few of your tunes.
Oh yeah, what do we got? About 40 minutes left. Okay.
Shadow Road is cool.
Yeah, I haven't played Shadow Road in a long time. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw that on for now. I'll tell people what this song, Shadow Road. I wrote it on acoustic and arranged it the way you hear it. It was done with my old band Athenry, and I had some amazing musicians around me. We were quite the 4-piece. Yeah, just an incredible group of guys. The song I wrote was about me meeting me in the future and what I would say to myself. So it was one of those epiphany type song days, you know, and I've got lots of those. I got to tell you, that was how I spent my time meditating, getting into writing and you know, really just closing off from the physical world around me. And then seriously, the songs would just drop out of my face. I picked my guitar up and it would hand me the song, and it was like that. So I never fought it. I said, okay, well, I'd look at my guitar and said, right, what do we got? What do you got for me today? So I'd pick it up and I just, oh, hey, that's kind of cool. I like that. So I'd write something. So here it is, Shadow Road. Bit of a rockier side of me. That's my rock and roll days. So when you hear my ballads and you hear this, you're kind of wondering, is that the same writer? Yeah, it is. So here we go. I'll play Shadow Road. I'm going to mute out on this end, Tracy, until this one's over. But here we go. Shadow Road.
Before the sun came up, felt the night wind blowing at the crossroads in the dust. Standing there I saw man, bloodstains on his soul, and a gleam in his eye as cold as steel, one pocket full of gold. So young man, he beckons with one finger of his hand, come sit with me for just a while and I'll help you understand what it takes to play this game, one lesson yet to learn. The road from here is never clear, beware your every turn. No mistake, I tell you true, the just man will prevail. No sacrifice is worth the price, you see you must not fail. On down the road I've traveled far, I've lived 10 lives in one. I've learned I'll give to you, my playing days are done. You're getting close to every word, on every line. Now we'll pass the objectives, what's it for, that's all my time. Up to you, don't do all I can. Daddy turned and walked away, faded into time. There I stood, a shaking man, not sure what I had seen. I knew the face, but I couldn't place the man that might have been. And as I walked back down the road, I looked but couldn't see. It was as if it was never there, that crossroads by the tree. in his eyes. For on the day the night wind came, I hadn't realized. Across the boundary set in time, I had planted just one seed and built that road across my path where the future came to me. Where the future came to me.
And there you go, Shadow Road. Yeah, it sounded like shit on this. I don't know what it sounded like out there. It was all over the place.
The sound wasn't great.
Wow, you know, block. I don't know what it is.
That wasn't you. That was the quality of the recording, I guess.
No, that's no, that recording is top.
That's how shitty you are.
No. It's actually how Blog Talk portrays it. I'm always nervous about playing stuff through Blog Talk. It always does that to the songs. But you know, I've posted the link many times. I'll throw it on Facebook again for anybody that wants to download.
So you're a rocker.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's one of the things we took a lot of pride in. We had offers early on with the band, but just nothing that floated our boat, so to speak. But we were all original. There was not one cover band or one cover song that we did. I wrote all of them except I think maybe 3. And the ones that I didn't write, I wrote the lyrics for. You know, this is just that's just what we do, right? But
so you were a guy band?
Yeah, I guess generally speaking.
Okay, so then, so forgive me. So then, when they started throwing their panties at you, you just started wearing them.
No. It's funny you say that. I remember we did one show. I remember in I think it was Oakville, part of the I forget what it was called, big festival every year. We played it every year. I think I can remember it. But anyway, Wide Mouth Mason was there and the Matthew Good Band, and we played with them that day. It was just gorgeous setup on the stage. Like, monitors were a dream. One of the best stages I ever played, actually. And I always made a point. Like, I never saw the stage as anything other than, you know, just a place to go and do your thing and kind of go out and hang out with people, right? But for some reason, other people kind of don't think that, because as soon as you walk out and you're sitting in the crowd with them, they're kind of looking at you. Weren't you just up there? I said, yeah. I said, I came here to enjoy the show too. You know, that's the whole part. That was a bonus about being a musician. You got to, you know, play with some really cool people and get a chance to, you know, watch them play live. You know, it was awesome. You know, it's like free tickets backstage even, and you get to, you know, drink beer with them. It's awesome. But anyway, and I always treat it like that. I never thought of anything. But I do remember we just come off stage, and I was I think Wide Mouth was setting up, ready to rock, and so of course they have everything fenced off, right? So, you know, people can't come backstage, which we always went around anyway. But I'm standing at the fence there, and I'm just kind of leaning over, looking, because I got a side view of the stage, and I was there for about maybe 20 minutes, and I got tired of that, and I thought, no, I'm going to go watch this for real instead of this. This is garbage. But while I was standing there, a group of young ladies came up, and you know, one of them wanted me to sign in a place that I didn't think was appropriate. You know, I wasn't interested in any of that kind of stuff. Just the way I was. I mean, it's, you know, call me a purist. I don't know, whatever. It's just that's not why I got into music. I'll tell you, the only reason I was ever on stage is because somebody said I was, you know, you're pretty good. You should do that. And I said, really? Okay, well, if you think so, I'll go and do this kind of thing. And I was scared the shit out of me. But she wanted me to sign part of her body. I said, no, tell you what, turn around. You got a T-shirt on. I'll just sign the back of your shirt. And, you know, that's
a rocker initiation. What are you talking about?
No, I know, but I wasn't.
Gone for it. Would have been a better story.
No, I know. Actually, I think that is a better story because I'm an uninitiated rocker. Okay. Plus, given the nature of the being I am, it just didn't sit well. You know, I had at the time a wife and a couple of kids, and not interested. Sorry, that's not why I got into that. You know, that's what our drummer was for, Larry.
You know what? I always thought that kind of like groupie, kind of like celebrity awe was stupid, right? And I'd never be caught dead. Well, I definitely was a bit of a groupie at Doug and the Slugs and Powder Blues Band. It was just way too much fun to not just like hang on the side, right? Like the band. Like you do get that sort of starstruck thing, even when you think you're cool and there's no reason for it. Mm-hmm. And one time I was in a club in Vancouver and Ron Glass from the Barney Miller Show was in there dancing. And I mean, I just about lost it. Because it was my favorite sitcom at the time. And my date was like, and then I saw myself do that. And
one of the more fun shows, they were all fun, but there's always a few standouts, right? There's one, we had an amazing weekend down, we were playing down at Grand Bend, which is on Lake Huron. And down at where we were, people like Goldie Hawn and Joe Pesci and a whole handful of other Hollywood, people had condos in that area because it was, relatively serene and, it was on the lake and they wouldn't get hassled, right? But the Saturday, we played on the Friday night and the place was just jam-packed. And the Saturday it was lined up outside, but on Saturday night, guess who came in?
Who?
Joe Pesci of all people.
Oh wow! Cool.
So it's like, and no one can swear like Joe Pesci. I don't care, nobody. He has all rights to swearing on any show or whatever. There's no one can swear like Joe Pesci. Anyway, yeah, just fun little things like that. I mean, I will say that given the road I've walked, I've met some really amazing people, made some beautiful friendships, and got exposed to a lot of things that most, quote, normal, everyday people don't get exposed to. But I never lost I'm a normal, everyday people.
You mean because you're an outside-the-box kind of girl?
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Yeah, well,
life is on the edge when you just the uncertainty and then the edge, way outside the box. Way outside the box for me. Not even close to the edge of the box. Thank you.
Well, that was the thing about stage, though, right? I could hide there. I could hide in plain sight. I mean, I could do the outlandish things and have fun and everything else. And you got to remember, beings like me do everything in our power to hide that. And because you're a freak. In your own mind, of course, you have to spend a lifetime sorting that out.
Yeah, but first you're an artist. I mean, it was your passion to do what you do as an artist. I mean, it's just a natural.
Oh, exactly. And you know what's really neat about this now, the show right now, is I feel like the good old days of being interviewed, about music and
you're welcome.
No, it's really cool. It's actually
that was kind of a fluke, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a walk down memory lane right now. I did a lot of interviews. Radio.
Where in the Toronto area?
Toronto, Hamilton, mostly Southern Ontario, a few stateside.
You get out there and busk.
Yeah, I would, but
not your style.
Well, no, it's not that it's not my style. I've done that, and it is a lot of fun.
Get a license, and you can make some pretty good coin, I hear.
Oh, I would never resort to.
No, you would. No, but I mean, it's legitimate. Well, there's that word too.
Well, that's legitimate in their system, but I mean, it's like this. If I want to go play somewhere, I'll pick up my guitar, and if somebody came along and told me I couldn't, I'd just say, yeah, okay, whatever. Then I'd start asking the people around you, you guys want me to stop?
Mm-hmm.
And then, put the onus back on them. And that's really what has to happen. And that's something else, too. Now that we've gone this full circle, you see, evil hates to be laughed at. Evil runs away.
Oh, does it ever? I've done that. Accidentally laughed in the face of it, and it hurls itself backwards.
Exactly. So, and yeah, that's totally what drummers are for. Thanks, Vic. Vicky rocks, and that is totally what drummers are for. And it's kind of funny because There was myself, Sam on guitar, John on bass, and Larry on drums. Actually, the drummer you heard in that song was John, another John. We only did that one record. That there was a studio, Skylab Q107 Studios in Toronto, that we actually recorded that, and I think one other tune, and that was the only tune we got out of it because the sound guy that was there that night, and a very well-known guy, so I'm not going to mention any names here, and the people that he worked with as road sound guy would melt your mind to know who it was. But I don't know, he was on downwards or something that night, man, because we were walking around in eggshells, and I got to tell you, Shadow Road, everything we did in studio was always done one take. Like, we didn't overdub and whatever, unless things like we wanted to get a better sound as far as it wasn't captured on that one take. We'd overdub something like a lead guitar or whatever. Everything was always tracked separately so we could do that. But for the mainstay, we made it. It was basically our law that if we didn't record it as a unit at the same time, that it wasn't us. And that's the thing too. We were a live band. We were not a studio band per se. In that the energy that we had on stage was never captured in studio.
Raw.
It was very, very raw, very intense. And I've got some videotapes. I think I do. Depends how much stuff got stolen. But the good old days. But I embarked on a solo career. I finished up with Athenry in 1999. We actually did the main stage at this same festival that we've done every year, and I was doing a solo opening for a band that night downtown, and that was where I was just doing my own stuff that we didn't do with the band, and that was pretty much the last show that we did. And then I took a break for about a year and a half, and just got into writing and just healing, because we'd been together for 7 years, and it was just too much. Just a long story. That's a book. I've got a book there somewhere, but then I came out solo in 2001, and my first gig out the gate was with the wonderful Lisa Brokop at the Oakville Center for Performing Arts. So I came out exactly where I wanted to, playing with someone I've always wanted to play with. It was just a gorgeous night, and I proceeded from there to do my solo thing, and I've written thousands of songs. I wish I could say I had them all recorded, but I'd be lucky if I had 2 or 3% of them recorded. But anyway, there's a link. I'll throw it up on Facebook. And by the way, it does say you can go to loveovermind.wordpress.com if you want to donate something, but there isn't a donate pin there. So if people were so inclined, if they wanted to, it'd be helping the whole team, not just me. But you can go to syncrenicity.com. That's our normal website. So feel free to do that if you want. It goes to help the team, Santo, Tony, myself, and others. So we can keep this stuff going here.
Speaking of Tony, what's he up to?
He's currently en route right now, doing a couple of things. So he checks in with me, every day. So I got an idea where he's at. And
you mean he's traveling?
Yep, doing a little traveling and setting a few things up. And I'll know better once he tells me all the details.
Oh, project underway.
Well, it's like this. When we're doing things, especially like that, we keep it on a very need-to-know basis, and I don't need to know. I just know that he's doing what he needs to do, and when he gets where he needs to be, then he can tell the story. We kind of work that way, right? Like I don't broadcast my moves. I just broadcast. So it's like. It's not paranoia or anything. It's just the way that's the way we keep our game fun and keep them guessing with oil of Olay, baby. Looking back at the band days versus my solo days, loved them equally. and there's nothing quite like the energy of flailing it out with a few thousand watts on a stage in front of thousands of people. That's a pretty cool vibe.
Well, you sound like you can do kind of a corner of a bar on a rowdy afternoon. It'd be fun too, eh?
Yeah, done that many times.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of people would say, well, go get gigs and play.
Been there, done that. You got another mission going here.
Yeah, and I'm not a. I'm sorry, when you have a heroin addict and you say, well, give up heroin here, have a cigarette. It just doesn't have the same effect, right? So it's all or nothing, baby. And been there, done that, got the T-shirt and sold a few.
Doesn't mean you won't play again in another, but right now you're like me. I'm preoccupied with this mission myself. Yeah,
the sooner we can get this solved, the sooner I can get back to doing what I love doing and what I feel that I'm supposed to be doing. And this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just singing different songs right now, but I'm still telling the same truth that I told in the songs. That's the joy of this.
Nice.
The only thing I don't have is one of these going off in the background, So, yeah.
All right, everybody sign up.
It'll come around when it comes around.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, are we really in the golden age, or are we not? Didn't we just come out of the iron, or if we went through the 0 point yet, we're going like the?
It's a mini golden age that we're in now.
So we go to what do you mean? Like we go through a bronze and then a silver before we get to ultimately a golden age, don't we?
Well, again, we're climbing back up Jacob's ladder. We just left the feet. We had our fallen angle. We're fallen angels, right, from Aries to Pisces to the feet. So that's a hell of a drop. So we're going to experience the biggest aspect of duality. So we've been through the worst. As humanity, we've been through the worst. Now, with Aquarius, we are moving up the shins as we climb the galactic ladder again. And based on the sign itself, and that we are in a climbing role,
the shins, that doesn't sound like the golden age.
No, but it is a mini golden age. We came out of the darkest. And, hey, listen, when you come out of the darkest period,
Oh, I'm feeling it. Hey,
yeah.
I'm feeling it already. Like I'm giddy, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's the Alberta sunshine or I think it's the shift.
Yeah. So again, it only gets better from here. That's the thing, is we've been through the worst, and now we have to, clean up a lot of mess that has been created with this duality nonsense, where we're coming back into that singularity, where we're, how do you put it?
As we clean up the mess in our own psyches and, basically clean up our thinking and clean up what we're emitting and we're not consciously conscious that we're emitting, clean that up, and then we, as within, so without, then we clean up the collective just the same way we created it. Except we were unaware, now we're aware and awake.
Oh, exactly. So I've got a few people saying, what happened to the show? No, we're still here. It's just a matter of, Skype.
We're boring.
Yeah, no. That was a good 5-minute smack in the side of the radio, right? So again, those that listen to the show regularly, they know we get bumped often. So it's it's a great excuse to go pee or grab something to eat or whatever. So consider it a meditation break.
A spirit deed.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything is divinely delivered. Don't argue. Accept and move on.
Yeah. And when you find yourself doing that more and more, things start getting a whole lot less complicated and a whole lot less frustrating.
And a whole lot more flowy.
Yeah, well...
in the nowie.
Yeah, while you're getting in the boat for the center stream as you're traveling down center stream, Oh, and I should let everyone know that tomorrow night I have Brett Stillings on, so bring seatbelts. You're going to need them.
Okay, what's up with Brett? What's his caper anyway?
Oh, if you didn't catch the shows that we had him on, he's one of the original Chrononaut children.
Which means?
Teleporters.
Oh yeah, okay, I recall.
Yeah, Mars visitation, etc. So, and getting back to that side of it, that's where I kind of started off tonight. You know, I'm seeing more and more reports coming up with, you know, the Vatican. They've got their back to the wall because we know the information that they've had in their little vaults, and who knows what else is living down there. It's coming to light, and they can't hold this tide back anymore. The control that was placed over them, and you talked earlier about Buddy with demon and whatever, right? Booze and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What we're dealing with here are a lot of our human allies, i.e. other flesh and bloods, real humans that have been literally overrode by other things that have effectively taken control of them. Knowledge is a powerful thing, and the easiest way to control masses is to keep them ignorant and in fear. And that's exactly what they've been doing, you know. So, oh, and thank you, Sam. Sam Muggsy just gave me a link for her show, so I'm going to be popping over there right after. Oh, I see you ate a bug. It says 15 minutes left, and for the last 20, that blue bar has been zipping back and forth. You might want to refresh your page.
Who's she talking to? Because you were going to pop over and listen to Dean's.
Well, no, I talked to Muggsy earlier, and she had asked me to, pop in. But what I'm going to do with Dean's show is grab it and download it, and then I'll listen to it right afterwards. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I want to get the goods and see what went on there, the shenanigans and the epic win that it ended up turning out to be. And again, there we go. I mean, the system is scrambling. You know, you've got courts that are stymieing people from putting documents in, again changing the rules as they go, and all that is a measure of their fear. And the longer they try to do this stuff, the more mistakes they make, and the more bullshit gets brought to the fore. So yeah, guys, keep it up. Your fear is beautiful, and we're loving it. How do you like it? You see, now we get to be that mirror, so they get to learn that lesson of fear as well. So again, there it is in a loving, compassionate way. It's not.
Well, because ultimately it's the fear that rises up within you about yourself. It's your growth. It's growth. It's evolution. So It's not a bad thing, and it's just that you can avoid growing and evolution, and you can cause yourself to have instant diseases. When your heart wants to grow, but the ego wants to say move back and retreat in protection mode, and you get sick because of that, so you got to override that fear of survival mode and go for the ultimate growth of the heart and soul, which is riskier. It requires, courage and being okay with uncertainty. And our old paradigm made us afraid of change and uncertainty, and that's a big one for people to overcome, but it sure is liberating when you jump sideways from that.
Yeah.
From the head to the heart. Oh my gosh, it's so much better.
Well, the universe loves a courageous being, and when you start to think in terms of your God sense, there's nothing logical about being fearful. You're an infinite being. What are you afraid of? And in order to have this three-dimensional meat stick game that we're in, we have to make it appear, mortal, where the illusion.
Sister, I hate the meat stick comment. I just hate.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just carbon heat engine. That work better? What I'm trying to do is separate the wheat and the chaff, and I can talk about the body, or I can talk about the meat stick, or I can talk about the carbon heat engine. I can talk about the.
I want to have the know and love thyself thing happening, where we respect our body, because the ascension doesn't mean we're like our spirit is going to float away and our body's going to do whatever it does. To me, it's the spirit that's been hovering above us. Now we finally have cleared our chakras and opened our hearts. It can descend into our physical, so then we're whole, we're integrated. We have, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. Who? Yoda.
Yoda, yeah. And again, I'm with Yoda on that, and the only reason I use that, it's not derogatory. It's a statement of wake up.
Yeah, I know.
To what it is.
But meat stick, I mean, meat.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember the first time I used that. That's pretty funny, actually. A meat stick, walking around in a meat stick.
It gives it gives the visual. It makes the point for sure. It's not who you are.
Oh yeah, that's it. I mean, it's like, are you the car or the driver? And all I'm trying to do is get people into the driver's seat instead of thinking they're the car. And sometimes it takes a funny word like meat stick to pull that out.
Besides, that's masculine. Like when you say meat stick, I think.
Oh well, gosh. That might be for you. That is not even close to what comes to my mind. But then there you go. That's just me. I'm such a prude, really. At the end of the day, for such a pot.
Such an innocent, are you? Okay.
Well, I wouldn't call me innocent, but I certainly wouldn't call me. I don't even know how to say that.
Rude or rude?
Well, no. It's like all my friends would say, "Well, let's go to the shrimp club." I said, "No."
The shrimp club?
Yeah, why would I want to go there?
What is that?
A strip club.
Oh, that's a shrimp club.
No. Well, I guess in terms of them, you could probably say that, but you know what I'm saying. No, the thing is, it was. Oh my God. Anyway, it wasn't my thing. It just wasn't my thing. It's like I don't see the purpose of it.
No, I think it's laughable. In fact, one time I dropped in on my little brother out in his local little area in the trades, and it was just that time at the end, Friday afternoon, and all of a sudden, he was ordering me a beer, and the stage show was over, and she walked by, and it was just like there's quite a few years between us. It was an awkward moment, and so I said, "Put some clothes on. We're trying to drink," and that it just worked. My brother's beer came out his nose. And it lightened up the moment, and all of a sudden he realized, he could have a beer with his older sister. This was going to be okay.
Yeah,
it was awkward.
No doubt, but no, I totally get that. That's funny. I wish I'd have been there to see it. Put some clothes on. We're trying to eat.
Trying to drink.
And it puts that in perspective too. And see, there's another degradation in this society that we have, and placing.
Like nothing against her. It was.
Oh no, I know.
Exactly right. I appreciate people that can creatively make a living and beat the system a little bit.
Yeah. Again, it's just all it's doing is conveying that whole trading. Well, it is. It's body trafficking. In a less literal sense of having to do something. Some of them do, I suppose, but whatever. So to me, it just.
Well, it's taken to a whole other level in other countries. Thailand, it's an art, right? Like it's the ladyboy thing is a huge industry in and of itself.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because occasionally, of course, I get the odd shill of I'm a freak and all sorts of derogatory comments, and the first thing I think of when I see that it says curious, are you?
Mm-hmm.
So you wonder what it's like.
Mm-hmm. It's an art, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful expression of humanity, twin spirit or two spirit, or do you like that? Two spirit?
So yeah, two spirit works. Transgender and whatever. Someone had said the other day I was transvestite. I said no, I'm actually transsexual. I'm on the far end of the spectrum. And here's the thing, people can talk about, cross-dress or drag or whatever. They're all different. They're all very different. So do a little homework if you kind of want to figure it out. I really preferred.
What if it's just art? What if it's just an artistic expression?
Well, you see, there's another aspect of it as well. You see, all I'm doing is conveying who I am as I see myself inside. I'm just okay. Nothing changed about me. I never changed. The only thing that changed in the perspective was I told you I'm telling people who I am. And
did you lose some associates?
Well, not because of this. No.
Oh.
No. Actually, a lot of people say, "Oh, finally, now you make sense to me." I often wondered why I felt like I was arguing with my girlfriend or my wife.
Whoops, sorry.
You know what I mean? So and that's it. It's laughable. You know?
Yeah, it's like, makes sense. I mean, that's the whole thing. Let's talk about being for a moment, and that's it. Like, the old paradigm is behave the way society wants you, conform, and don't upset other people with your individuality. And the new paradigm is be your authentic self, and if it pisses off somebody or hurts somebody's feelings, good, because that's by design to flush out their bullshit.
You know, we're moving into the time now where, you know, being in a uniform is going to be laughable. Oh, look, someone's just part of look at the little club they're in, you know, instead of being that beautiful individual. You know, it's
and the more different, the better.
Well, that's it. And I mean, that came out heavily with the punk rock movement, where people were really being expressive, and that's all I'm doing is just expressing that part of me that I want to express, and that's all. You know, people can, and they will. Being an empath isn't easy either, I'll tell you, because, you know, people don't have to say anything or whatever, you know, go in somewhere. And fortunately, it's very minimal, but it's still, oh, yeah, you still haven't got over yourself, have you? Okay.
Hey, you know what? I'm a girl, and I like to boy express, I just realized. Like, I do a lot of boy things. Like, I like to throw tiles around and get really all dirty and, you know, like, work really hard and accomplish something, and I find that really kind of boyish to do that, to roll around in mud and be like really like at one with it.
Yeah, and there's another society stickler. It's okay for a girl to be a tomboy, but an effeminate male in terms of expressing that side, because that's who and what they are. Oh, that's you know, boys don't cry, and boys are supposed to be this, and girls are supposed to be that, and it's like,
well, it's because it threatened boys, right? Like the feminine side, it was threatening, so it was harder to take. Where it wasn't, I don't know. I think to be a tomboy is not as well. It's probably just as threatening.
Oh, for sure it is, especially to males. And now Tammy has talked about this a lot of times. The effeminate male and the female dyke. You know, that is a mindset that she's referring to, and I see it's a very fine line, but it's as black and white as anything you can ever see once you see it. And
so can you explain dyke? Is that the same as lesbian or?
Well, I don't want to get into the gender aspect of it, because that's not what it is. You know, like that can be considered a derogatory term for a lesbian. And not one that sits well with most of them.
But it sounds like when you say it in conjunction with effeminate male, that it has a specific...
Well, no, I'm talking about females when I say that. What they are is they are over... they're trying to grow a penis, basically. What they're doing is they are, instead of being the nurturing aspect that is what is... Here, I'll show you. The prime example of a dyke is any woman that puts on a military uniform or a police uniform, because here, what we have, and especially in terms of military, and
turns off unconditional love and nurturing and protection of life.
Well, the thing is, here we are, the creators of life out there being the takers of life. That's fucked up.
That's totally, totally cancel.
Yeah, and good point, Pat. Yeah, lesbians I know they definitely do wear dyke proudly, and you know, and it depends on who in the relationship you're talking to, right? Because typically the more masculine aspect of a lesbian relationship would be, how did my cousin put it? You know, the butch dyke or the bull dyke. You know, so it's and again, that's something else too that you know. We got to stop taking ourselves so seriously.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, who cares? I'm at the point where I don't care what I wear and I don't care what gender. It's about love, and it's about individual expression, and that's it. Like, let's just get over it.
And there's going to be a lot of people that won't get that for a very long time, and that's okay. I don't care.
Well, or in a twinkle of an eye.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm aiming for. You know,
paradox. There's that balance in the paradox.
Exactly, and that twinkling of an eye is exactly what I'm looking for. So I guess you just heard the heads up there too, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. We got a minute and a half here. So what I'll do right now is I'll say a great big thank you to Paul and Lisa and the crew at Critical Mass Radio for giving us this platform every night. And was not expecting to be on it tonight, but here I am. I thought, yeah, I can spend a couple hours hanging out with my friends, and hopefully tonight they got a chance to see a little bit more into the more personal side of me. Maybe now they'll even realize even more how important they are to me, because you're me. Why wouldn't I care about me? And that's what it boils down to. I've just made the choice to look after me in the entirety sense of the word. That you're all my family, and we're all related, and that we're all one. And I think we come together as those collective cells of humanity, and let's heal and get this planet solved, and let's get back to having the the fun we're supposed to have. I've had enough of this little nightmare that we call a dream of life or whatever. What do you think?
You bet. I agree.
Yeah, it kind of works for me.
It's fun to be your mirror. Fun to be your Sagittarian mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. Gemini Sag. There we are. Mirror, mirror, baby.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Tracy. And thanks, Joanne, for popping in. Much love to everyone. We'll catch you tomorrow night with Brett Stillings here on Critical Mass Radio. I'm Kate of Gaia, host of Outside the Box tonight and tomorrow night. So we'll see you then. Take care.
Love you.
Love you all. Love you. Wait for it. Wait for it. Thank you for using Blog